the pitch. Is looped towards shortstop. Petroselli's back. He's got it. The Red Sox win. And pandemonium on the field.
Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, brought to you each week by the National Sports Collectors Convention. Join us every Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and get the latest news from the greatest experts in the sports collectibles world. You can watch us on the Great American Collectibles Facebook page, as well as YouTube, or you can listen to us on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. And now your hosts, award-winning sports collectibles author Tom Zappola and Boston radio personality Lou Blasi.
Hello, gang. How we doing, Louis?
Doing very well. Surviving the nor'easter up here, the early nor'easter.
It has really sucked. Lou, is that the Great American Collectibles jersey?
Yes, I got all kinds of swag from Rico and Mike, too. It's great. I got a charger,
Wait.
I got pens, and
Let me tell you about those chargers. Is that the three-way charger?
Yes, it is.
Those things are awesome. I have 4 of them. I had to put the arm on Rico for 2 more.
I got the Petroselli marketing T-shirt with the shot of Rico catching that pop-up that we just heard.
Did you get any pens?
I got pens. I got a bunch.
Pens are great. Pens are really good, man. These are like quality pens. They're not these cheap pens that Mike used to make in the past.
It's short sleeve, though, Tom. I should have asked for long sleeve.
I don't think we have those.
You don't have them? Okay.
No. Come on. Cut me some slack here, will you please?
We live in New England, for crying out loud.
Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show. Tom Zapp, my good friend, co-host, Lou Blasi, radio personality, Sirius XM guru. How many years, Lou?
Oh, 12, 13, 14.
12 years on Sirius XM radio. It's a porn show, though, right?
Actually, you shouldn't get into this. There are actually 2 former adult film stars on the roster of the channel, by the way. And I had one on. I had Lisa Ann on. She was in a fantasy league with us. And my partner at the time was a master's degree in political science. And we had her on because she was fighting with him for first place in the league. And that was one of the greatest shows I've ever done in my life. It was great.
You are kidding me. Hey, we have 2 great guests today. Our good friend, Jeremy Murray from Pristine Auctions, and Logan Konjevich. Did I pronounce it right?
Nice.
It's close enough.
Logan from both from Pristine Auctions. Pristine's been with us. You know, I don't know if you know this, Jeremy. You guys, Jared has been with us since day one, the first episode 10 years ago. You guys have been with us since day one, and we're very, very appreciative of it. We used to get into it in the early days, what a sucky basketball player Jared was. I mean, he thought he was really good, but in reality, he was just okay. Am I correct in saying that?
We played in the pickup league a couple of months ago together, and I will say he was much better than I was, and it makes me really hurt to say that.
So he can still.
I'm older than Jared, though, so I can hold that over his head.
So he can still take it to the hoop, huh?
It's still, he's got a little game in there,
That's
game.
good.
But you can see him though. He's got the cool young hair and all that, so he's got a little bit of more pep in his step.
He does. And you know something? When he walks around the National, he struts. You know?
Yeah.
You ever notice that?
When you roll in there at 11 or 12 each morning, when we've all been there at 8 or 9, you can do that.
All right, listen, we're going to be all over the place today. Logan is here because Logan is the Pristine resident Pokemon guy. Now, before people start turning off their radios or computers or throwing like your shoe at the screen, we all have to accept the fact that Pokemon is here. And not only that, but Pokemon has a very, very stable place now in the hobby. Am I correct, Logan?
Oh, 100%. It's.
I mean,
getting crazy.
We were when we were in Florida. Rico and I went to a show at the, the Kennel Club, Lou, in West Palm.
Oh, yeah.
That big kennel club. Well, they had a big show there. And there must have been, I would say, 200 dealers. 40% of them were Pokemon dealers, 40%. So, I mean, it's here to stay. Logan, you're going to have to kind of walk us through it. I want you to not pretend. With Lou and I, you're talking to 2 morons. when it comes to Pokemon. Lou, I mean, unless you're a Pokemon expert, Lou.
God,
that,
no.
that I don't know about.
I know less
So-
about Pokemon than soccer.
So we're going to ask you to kind of walk us through it. I know, Jeremy, I know you're an expert also.
No. I'm with Rico. I'm in there as well. People ask me the other day, it's like, hey, do you want me to teach you about Pokemon? I was like, no, I'm good. Old dog, new tricks. We'll let Logan and the other guys here that know that well do the Pokemon looking.
And you know, and by the way, we're not just going to focus on Pokemon. We're going to be all over the place today. We're going to talk about Pristine. We're going to talk about the hobby. Talk a little bit about next year's Red Sox team that will wind up in the World Series.
Oh boy.
The fact that the Arizona Diamondbacks are kind of like on the downslide. And Ken Kendrick, if you're listening, my apologies. Other than that, we're in good shape. All right, go ahead.
Texas Rangers talk. That's my team. So we can
Oh,
talk about
really?
Rangers. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
When I moved here, it was the exact year and the time that the Rangers were beating the Diamondbacks. So it was beautiful for a Rangers fan to roll in here at the perfect time.
Oh, God.
It was great.
We're cutting Logan at this point. He's feeling the guts.
All right, listen, let's get into some Pokemon talk. Logan, can you just kind of, and I know like guys like Mike Variali and Joe Marino and Stan Orr, these guys are all listening, and they're bigger morons than we are. So just, kind of walk them through it if you can. I know Pokemon's been around for a long time, but I get confused as to the how many characters are there in I mean, thousands, 50?
Yeah, I think we're in the thousands now. It started with 151.
No, wait a minute. 151, how far back?
95.
Okay.
In 1995, it was 151. But I think if we're not in the thousands, we're very close. I think we might be in the 800 to 900 range then.
All right. Now, is there a Honus Wagner in that group of Pokemon cards, originals?
Yeah, it'd be the Charizard for sure. First edition.
I'm sorry?
First edition Charizard.
Charizard.
Yeah.
Now, Charizard, is that a guy?
It's a dragon-looking Pokemon.
Okay. And are there many of those out there?
First editions, no, and that's what you want to look for if you're chasing something. There's not a ton of them. There's enough to where people can get their hands on them, but if you want to take a step up in terms of a specific card from that, it'd be the Japanese Illustrator Pikachu.
Okay, now Lou, you're gonna have to jump in and help me here. All right, you got today. You're earning your money today. That's all I'm saying. Wow. So these cards all originated in Japan, correct? I mean, the whole Pokemon phenomena.
Yeah.
Okay. So 151.
So let me ask this: what's the driving force behind all this right now? Because there was the original show, of course, and then I remember a few years ago when the app came out and you were finding them on the street.
Wait a minute. There was a show, a Pokemon show?
Yeah, cartoon.
I did not know that.
So my son watches now. He wants me to sit and watch it with him, and I said, I got no idea.
So what's driving the hobby right now? Is it the collecting itself that's driving Pokemon in general, or is there something else driving it?
That is a great question. I think as of right now, what's really driving the hobby is, I think it's less of people's actual interest in Pokemon itself, and I think it's more so that it's just the value of the cards. I think it's like the investor side of it, because if you actually look at like the split between people who actually like play the game / collect versus people who are trying to just flip cards, the group of flipping cards is, I would say, probably 70 to 80%.
Now we're seeing that, Jeremy, you can jump in here. I mean, we're seeing that, at least in my opinion, on the modern and ultra modern side of collecting baseball cards, football cards, basketball cards. I think we're seeing a lot of that also, where it's more investor driven than, quote, love of the hobby driven. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm going to start with you, Logan, first.
I personally think it's a bad thing, because then the people who actually care about what they're getting can't get it as easily. And so it takes away that, I would say, joy of collecting and actually chasing what you want to get. Instead, it just becomes a money hungry fight.
Jeremy?
I'm on the other side. I'm not a collector of Pokemon. I see Logan's side of it, and I saw that when I worked with the guys at CBCS in the comic book industry. It was about the passion, it was about the art, it was about your favorite character, it was about that, and it was get the pieces that I want, and that's what I did. And being on the sports side is the 25 plus years that I have been. It's definitely turned into more of a business and flipping that. So on my business mind for me on that is not a collector. I like that. I like that there's a new stream of revenue in the industry. I like that there are new collectors in the industry. You talked about the shows before. The West Coast show that the guys at Burbank put on, the same thing. The 40% of their show was dedicated just to non-sport TCG Pokemon type business. And that brought new people in the industry that may have no interest in vintage cards, modern sports cards, and things like that. So business side, Jeremy, is I'm fine with the flipping. And
Logan, is there, in your opinion, any crossover, or do you anticipate any crossover where the Pokemon collector? I'm going to use my doctor. He was on last time with you guys, Brian Poole. Now, Brian he's an avid Pokemon collector, and I've talked to him about it. He's got no interest in kind of gravitating over to the sports side. Do you see any of that? Are there any Pokemon dealers and collectors that are kind of sticking their toe in the water on the sports end of it?
Oh, for sure. I see it on both the collector and like the investment side, I guess you could say. Investment side, obviously, money is money, but from the collector side, I do see a lot of sports guys going and dipping their toe in Pokemon, and I see a lot of Pokemon guys who they have their favorite teams or their teams or players they follow, so yeah, they collect them as well.
Louis?
Compare and contrast the dynamics of the Pokemon market with collecting card market. In other words, is there a vintage modern Battlefield? Is there manufactured rarity? What's the dynamic on the card collecting on the Pokemon side?
Now there is both of all of that, I should say. You have the vintage side of it where people are chasing after their first editions and their base sets of the original set, but you also have the newer sets that are coming out, and you get, I would say, the Pokemon company, the one who's printing the cards and making the sets, they've started to realize what makes them money, which is manufactured rarity, the same in sports cards. And so they print less on purpose, and they release the pull rates and say, hey, there's a 1 in 600 chance you pull this. Yeah, it's going to drive the price up.
I mean, we're seeing that on the sports end, Jeremy.
Yeah. The one thing that I want to talk to you about the crossover as well, what we see a lot of here, and I saw it when I was with Beckett, is you get a lot of the artists signing the cards that they create. And so bringing in the autograph aspect of the business as well is something that I don't want to sleep on, because there's a lot of people that love the artwork that folks do on comic books and on TCG cards and things like that, and they're getting those pieces signed, and we're seeing those come in for consignment as our Pokemon and TCG market and demand grows and grows.
Yeah. Logan, are you a one-man show at Pristine on the Pokemon end? I mean, obviously Jared knows less than Jeremy. So, I mean, are you it as far as the Pokemon operation there goes? Because I know you guys deal quite a few of those things.
No, so I am a part of our sorting team, which is me and 4 other guys. And we all kind of have shared our knowledge with each other throughout the last few years. And so they know enough to where they can get by. But if they get something weird, then they bring it to me.
Interesting.
How'd you get here, Logan?
I'll show you this. I brought some things here. Some things that we're getting on consignment is there's TCG mystery packs where you're looking for dedicated Pokemon edition packs that are in there. We talked about, Logan brought it up before, this is one that you're getting a Charizard in every box. Like you know for sure what you're getting. You don't know the level of it, but it's there.
Hold on. Okay, you're saying there's a Charizard in every box. That's a limited card. That's kind of a rare card. So what are you saying, Jeremy? as far as the grade of the card that's in that box?
Yeah, it's there's different grades of cards that are in that box. There's different years of product in that box that people are chasing. But it's one of those things when you buy that product, you know for sure you are going to get a Charizard of some form or fashion. And
So what does that box retail for?
It depends on auction. I'll just tell you right now. So what that box is you contains one PSA, BGS, or CGC Gem Mint or Pristine Charizard of some kind. And in that, the big chase factor in that one, and Logan, I'm going to butcher this, so you correct me. 1999 original base set hollow CGC 10 Mint Charizard is the big chase in that one.
Okay,
So there are multiple versions for the characters, just like there are multiple versions for players.
Correct. Exactly.
And I'm guessing there's a rookie card. There's the big chase, as you put it, Jeremy, the card that you want out of all those versions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So exactly. What is that box at an auction? What will that realize?
Yeah, on average, it's about $100 box is what they're across our platforms.
Very cool.
And this was even when I started here a year and a half ago, the amount of, and Logan, you can even speak up to this, the amount of mystery product of Pokemon stuff that is coming in here. And this is created from a 100% sports card dealer. He's created this product. Same thing with this guy. This is from a well-known person in the industry that is dedicated to sports, and he has now dipped his toe in the Pokemon market.
See, we're going to get into this. Rico and I and Lou, we're going to get into this. We're going to put I don't know, maybe Italian food in each hermetically sealed bag, because it's amazing how many people are getting into different aspects of the retail end of this. I'm actually finding this, quite frankly, interesting. Which I wasn't expecting, to be honest with you. All right, listen, what we're going to do is we're going to take
clear on what Jeremy was talking about. That's not cards putting together. That's not card companies putting together.
No, they're individuals.
Yeah.
So it's basically like a self-manufactured break, kind of, right?
Yeah, exactly what it is. It's the mystery product that people are out there. Some people hate it. Some people love it. And that's what they're creating. And it can be, we have all sorts of different stuff. It can be jerseys. It can be helmets. It can be TCG, it can be Pokemon, it can be Jordan. We've got a consignor that took an 86, 87 Fleer set and graded it and put it into a product. So every card you're going to get in there is the full set.
So, Jeremy, I want to before we take a break, I want to touch upon this a little bit. You guys are really unique to this hobby, to this industry. I mean, unique. Pristine is an outlier as far as I'm concerned with what you guys do, what you guys auction off, what you guys sell. I mean, if you look any given day, you go on your site, I was just looking at it. I don't even know how many entertainment or musical items you have. I mean, not like 20, 500, 600, whatever it is.
Yep.
So
the site is a blast. It's just fun to hang around.
Isn't it? It really is. The 10-minute auctions, all of that stuff. So my question, though, is what you just spoke about, somebody manufactured that. Mm-hmm. Do you guys do business with a lot of those private manufacturers on different items, whether it be sports, non-sports, musical? I mean, do you guys do much with those private manufacturers?
We do. What's great about it is we get to control what products we accept, and we take it very, very seriously. When we require checklist, we require certain runs. You can't load a product with one player with one hit. There has to be a checklist there, and we take it seriously in that, because what we want is we want people to just say this brand, and they buy it, and even when they don't win and get the big card, they're like, you know what? That wasn't that bad. And we all know in this industry, when you may go to your local card shop or to Target or Walmart and you buy a box for hundreds of dollars, and what you get in return is a kick in the teeth would be better than that. Yeah. And so at least here, if you are a Charizard collector, worst case scenario, you're leaving there with a Charizard card that you know and you collect.
That is very cool. That's a great business model. It really is. I'm impressed with what I see on that site. It's funny because again, I know we're a little behind on the break, but I speak to a lot of your competitors, a lot of your competitors, and I'm talking about the biggest auction houses in the country. And they all say the same thing, man. When I tell them, first of all, I always started off with, guess how many employees they have, right? And then that blows them away. And then every one of them is really impressed with what the hell you guys do. And I'm talking the biggest auction houses in the country.
Yep.
You guys really, you do it right. You do it differently. And I think that's why you've been successful. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be all over the place. We got a lot to talk about. However, and I mean however, when we come back, it's the finals of the AINBA Great American Collectibles Championship. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
I'm Rebecca Curry, a two-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free, integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectibles Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Okay, we are back. And it is that time, ladies and gentlemen, after much blood, sweat, and tears that I have put into this, getting nothing but criticized by my producer and my co-host, who 2 weeks ago, my co-host said, we need to kill this pig. I'm putting it all aside. And it is time for the AI finals. Brought to you by Danny. I'm sorry.
It's perfect timing a week before the NBA season opens.
All right, so the timing was a little off. Time for the AI finals, brought to you by our good friend Danny, the basketball savant, and Paul Borges of PB Collectibles. And I've been saying it all along. If you have a bitch about this particular segment, call them, not me. Okay, this is the finals, and this was a surprise, as we've spoken about. The NBA Finals, the 1996-97 Chicago Bulls against the surprise 1983-84 Philadelphia 76ers. I'm going to break it down for you. First, let's talk about the Bulls and the advantage. The Bulls boasted an all-time great triumvirate of Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman. Jordan was and still is, at this time in his prime, averaging 29 a game. The advantage, again, Malone was a rebound. Now, this is for the advantage for the 76ers. Malone was a rebounding and scoring monster, and the Bulls had no ideal matchup for him. However, the Bulls' strong team defense would limit, possibly, Malone's supporting cast. Defense, the Bulls. The Bulls' perimeter defense was unparalleled, featuring Pippen, Jordan, and Ron Harper. They also had Dennis Rodman, one of the greatest rebounders ever at power forward. Wing play, advantage Bulls. The combination of Jordan and Pippen would overwhelm Irving, who was 33 and in the twilight of his career, which that makes a lot of sense. While Irving and Moses were elite, Jordan was also in a class of his own. Bobby Jones, the reigning sixth man of the year, was an elite defender, but overall team defense was a tier below the Bulls. So here is the breakdown. We've talked about the advantages, the disadvantages. First quarter. The Sixers established Malone's post presence early, capitalizing on Rodman's size disadvantage. Jordan and Pippen respond with explosive scoring and lockdown defense on Irving. The Bulls take a small lead. Second quarter. With both teams going to their benches, the Bulls pull ahead. Steve Kerr's perimeter shooting and Tony Kukoc's scoring and playmaking are too much for the Sixers' less talented second unit. Third quarter. The Sixers feed Malone again, and he has a strong quarter against the Bulls' interior. Jordan, however, responds with a scoring flurry that extends the Bulls' lead. Fourth quarter. In crunch time, the Bulls' defense clamps down. Jordan takes over offensively, hitting clutch shots and putting the game out of reach. The Bulls' athleticism and perimeter shooting proved too much for the old Sixers, and the Bulls win it going away. The final score, the 1996-97 Chicago Bulls 106, the 1983-84 Philadelphia 76ers 91, and quite frankly, a blowout. But I think that was kind of expected. Jeremy, you're a basketball guy. A surprise, right? With the Sixers being there?
Yeah, when you told me that they made the finals, I was like, you sure? Like, there's other teams that I would have put in the finals there against them. But I think the Bulls that year, whoever they ran up against, we're gonna win.
Yeah, I think hands down that is the greatest team of all time. I don't think there's any dispute there that particular year. One thing I noticed though about this Sixers team was with the brackets, the way the brackets just fell, they did have a couple of easy games. They wound up playing like the 66-67 Sixers with Chamberlain and Hal Greer and those guys. And obviously those guys couldn't play with the modern teams. But overall, I think it was true. I think the Chicago Bulls absolutely were the greatest team of all time. Louis?
Again, I have some problems with it because it's tough. It's tough with the NBA because the eras were so different, and dealing and how these teams would deal with the 3-point game, even as it evolved after the 3-point game was introduced. Plus, the other thing I don't think AI takes into account that well, especially in a single game matchup, is the amount of dog. We've talked about this. That's why the 85-86 Celtics probably should have done better in here because that was a lot of dog. This Bulls team had a lot of dog in it too. And like the Warriors, I think went farther than they might have otherwise because they're not a real dog team. And
yeah, the Warriors, Jeremy, that I can't remember what year it was. The Steph Warriors got knocked off last week by the 76ers. No, by the Bulls. I'm sorry. It was by the Bulls.
We talked about it. In our panel at the National, we talked about how Ruth would do in current baseball. And we had to take into account, and Joe Orlando got real worked up about this because you say, okay, would you have the same nutrition and the same workout program and the load management that you have these days versus past days and things like this? So it's a fun talking point and have those discussions, and it gets your blood kind of boiling at times, and you're saying it's impossible, no way.
No, and I agree with that.
Well, that vintage versus modern thing, especially in baseball, always boils down to me is it the field of dreams scenario? In other words, is Babe Ruth walking out of a cornfield to play baseball today? Because never happened, would not happen. Babe Ruth born in 1996 or 1992, coming up through, then that's an open discussion. But Babe Ruth's not going to walk out of the cornfield and hit Garrett Crochet. He's just
exactly.
Yeah.
You're right. You're 100%.
I got to ask you, Jeremy, what side of that argument were you on?
I was on the wrong side of Joe. He got onto me quick on that. And I said, okay, if we're taking nutrition and your health, and Babe Ruth's not had 3 or 4 beers before he got his first at bat and that type of stuff, then yes.
Joe was passionate about that too, man. He was real passionate about that. I mean, he said, well, again, as Jeremy said, if you have the nutrition, actually talk to Rico. I mean, Lou, we've talked to Rico about this. Rico, in his entire baseball career, never lifted a weight.
I know, right?
Never lifted a weight, and they didn't want them lifting weights. The guy that revolutionized that whole thing happened to be on Rico's team, Freddie Lynn with the Nautilus machine.
Yep.
I mean, he brought in a Nautilus machine, and they were like flabbergasted.
Do you remember the backlash he got for that? The whole
absolutely, he got annihilated.
Yep.
Rico said all they would allow us to do was chin-ups and push-ups. That's all they would allow us, and run.
So we have to take that discussion to the next level. In other words, when we're comparing all-time great players and keeping in mind, if we all accept the fact that Babe Ruth couldn't walk out of the cornfield and hit today, if we all accept that, and I think it's relatively easy accepting, who's the greatest player of all time? Shohei Ohtani, modern age?
Well, you got to go. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think that you have to, based on this snapshot in time, you have to go with, as time goes on, someone's going to replace Shohei. Someone's going to replace, you know what I'm saying? Because of the training that they have today, you're right. So, it's just an evolution. I mean, I don't see any other way you can do it. But if you look at the whole landscape, Lou, the whole picture, then there's an argument for, okay, Babe Ruth, if you look at his numbers back then, compare them, all of that stuff, then there's an argument for Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth was hitting more homers than some teams. He was dominant,
Right,
so that's the argument there. But so you have to define the question: who's the greatest baseball player of all time? Athletes are bigger, better, stronger. The game is faster, harder to play now. Every sport, absolutely every sport.
Sure.
I will. Here he goes.
I will agree with that. However, baseball is a unique one to me just because if you just take and isolate pitching alone, if Babe Ruth stepped onto the plate and someone throws the sinkers and sliders that they throw now, he'd be flabbergasted.
Yep. But
okay.
Shohei Ohtani walk out of the cornfield in 1927 and hit.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
But that's where it gets complicated to me when it comes to baseball.
well, again,
It's like,
right. So again, you have to get back to Joe's argument, Joe Orlando's argument. You take Babe Ruth, you put him in today's world, and I don't know how old was Babe Ruth in 1927. So now Babe Ruth is in the condition that players are in today, and what does he do? He'd be a beast, I would think.
I would say there's also, though, with baseball nowadays, because of the way pitches are, there is a certain level. I'm not saying Babe Ruth wasn't smart. I don't know that. But I do think there is a certain level of like intelligence factor as well
No doubt.
that to be able to read a ball and see what it's going to do in 0.3 seconds is insane.
But if Babe Ruth is born in 2000 and goes through AAU and goes through high school and goes through college and learns the game that way, he could hit. He's Aaron Judge. Right?
Yeah, I think so too. I agree with that. Hey, let's change.
He can't use a 40-ounce bat, but that's a whole nother thing.
I brought that up as well, and Joe's like, "No, they would change the bat." And this, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, you're right."
Hey, I want to talk about racing. You guys are huge in auto racing, in the whole auto racing world. Tell us about that, both of you guys, and how did you morph into that? Because that's a big part of Pristine's business.
Yep, that's Jared, 100% Jared Cavley. And I've heard stories how he got into it. And Logan, you've been here longer than I have, so you may be able to tell me if this is true or not. I heard that he got kicked out of their fantasy football league and had to find another event to get involved, and he got into racing. And so I don't know if that's a joke or if that's a true story.
Did you hear that from
Israel?
Israel? Yeah, okay. I heard that as well. So I think I heard it from Israel too.
But he owns a race. You guys have a Pristine racing car, don't you?
Yeah. Well, he sponsors that. So what came back to Jared, it's his passion. He loves it. He loves it. He is friends with a lot of the racers. And that's why he really loves it. Christopher Bell is a good friend of his, and he is a really, really successful racer. Just like Pokemon, I'm going to work my way through this because I do not know this nearly as well as Jared can talk racing. But he's one of the best NASCAR drivers around now.
Yep.
We do sponsorships with cars. We have some of the truck racers and the lower level racers that we've got partnerships with and do signings with and have some sponsorships with. And if you ever tour our office, there are parts of cars that have come off with the Pristine label on there, and it's really, really cool. Behind Logan there's a lot of signatures from NASCAR folks.
I was going to ask what those signatures are. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we do signings in the room there, that's usually where it is. That's the athletes or the celebrities sign that wall. So that's how it is Jared's passion. He loves it to the point where he would, I think, if you ask him his ideal thing, he would love to own a NASCAR team at one time.
If I recall, you're a race car freak too, or you were.
Well, NASCAR. I like NASCAR a lot. Yeah. My cousin, who you know too, grew up was working in North Carolina, and we spent a lot of time down there in the race teams. And I love NASCAR. And I got into NASCAR. This is the question I wanted to ask about it. I got into NASCAR and the Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace and those type of huge personalities.
Yep.
And it's kind of like golf with Trevino and Palmer and things like that. It seems to have gotten more corporate and a little bit more low key. Has that hurt the collecting aspect of it? Because when I first got into it, and you had Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace and all those guys, those are huge personalities.
I think it has a little bit, and I think that they've had to go a little bit more commercialized because NASCAR was always, and I can say this since I'm a Texan, was sort of a Southern event. You go down there, you hang out for a week, you're drinking, you're watching your racers, it makes it a full event of it. And it was sort of a Southern only event. And as the money poured in there, you had to be a little bit more commercialized. And you got rid of the sponsorships from cigarettes and alcohol to an extent. And you had to, just to sort of play in the big boys game, you had to have some of that money behind it.
It was the Winston Cup Series for a long time.
No, and that's what's
brand, yeah.
It's what's wild about it, just how the industry has changed and how it's not as the old redneck type sport or event as it was once known. And I will tell you this, I did not grow up on it. I didn't understand it. I joked about it. Hey, just drive faster than everybody else and you can win every time. Like, don't go to the pit and you'll just win every time. And last year I went out because they do the NASCAR championship race here in November. And so I went out there and I got to see it firsthand and stand on the track and look at it. It's pretty awesome. Like, especially being there and feeling the cars shoot around that. Do I watch it every weekend? Absolutely not. But I will tell you this, a lot of my friends, my brother, love to bet on it too. So I think that's another thing that it's played into. It's gone more of the gambling side and the fantasy side of that for those people that can be involved with it, not just taking their camper down to wherever they're going for a week. They're fully involved with it with their fantasy team or betting on it, or just wherever it's traveling all over the country and the world. And some of the cities that the races go to now, and the street races and these venues that they built for these races is just blown up.
It's crazy. As a matter of fact,
first of all, NASCAR's got a baseball type of deal to it that it looks boring. Everyone's just running around in circles, but there's something happening every lap. It's like something happening in every pitch in baseball. You just have to be tuned into it. Let me tell you a redneck story. This is one of my favorite stories about NASCAR. Dale Earnhardt had a gas man called Chocolate Martin. He was part of his crew, and everyone thinks NASCAR was so redneck even back then. He went to Texas Instruments and had a gallon of gas weighed at every racetrack on the circuit because there's specific gravity, and a gallon of gas doesn't weigh the same exactly on every track on the circuit. He had Texas Instruments make up a calculator so he could keep track of the gas closer based on the specific gravity weight of a can of gas at a certain racetrack.
You gotta be kidding me.
That's crazy.
This is 70s, by the way.
And that's crazy back in the 70s to think like that. But I watched, you're talking about like the pit team. These pit teams are ripped. They are huge.
Oh, yeah.
They're former athletes that they're jumping over that wall and loading tires, and they look like a football team if you looked at them. And they crazy. And they love it. And so
a lot of football players on those teams, actually.
Yeah. And so it doesn't surprise me, like looking at that and then knowing back then someone takes a tad bit of competitive edge and maybe not cheating, like say if you're not cheating, you're not trying, but to weigh that stuff, because it can weigh. I mean, it could determine a race for you.
You know who's into it also, Jeremy, is Mike Hefner from Leland's?
I do. I know that name. Yeah.
Mike's the former CEO of Leland's. He's since left and retired, but he owns a couple of racing cars. He's hugely big in it. There's another, this is Louis' favorite sport. You guys are really heavy into soccer also. A lot of signed soccer memorabilia. Tell us about that. Listen, I didn't know jack about soccer before my granddaughter started playing as a AAU member 5-6 years ago. And I got to tell you something, Lou, you're going to disagree with me. I think it's a great game.
It's fine. It's fine. I get no problem.
Yeah, it's good.
I like, we go to the games. I watch the game. It's a high level of a high school soccer, and it's really, really interesting to see what transpires on the field. You guys are into it big time. Who's into soccer at Pristine? Who started that? Is that another Jared?
No, Jared is not a soccer fan at all. He will joke about, well, look what we have here. We have soccer. I love soccer. I absolutely think it is a beautiful sport. I think there are sports out there that I don't enjoy watching, and to watch a 0-0 tie makes people want to jump out of a window. And there are parts of that game that are absolutely beautiful and to watch it, especially at a high level. So I'm a soccer fan. I'm not deep into, I don't have a club that in the English Premier League that I follow, but I will put it on and I will watch it. Dash, who does some of our live shows and handles our grading consignments and things like that, is probably one of our best guys that can talk soccer about the athletes that are out there. Yamin Yamal is this young up-and-comer right now that is just blowing the world away in his collectibles are insane, but you're gonna have the core group there, the Messis and the Ronaldos and the Pelés and the Beckhams and things like that roll through here. But I think, Tom, kind of what you were talking about there, your granddaughter plays it at a much higher level now, but really every kid starts playing soccer at some point. And
there's no doubt. I mean, she started playing, and my grandson, they started playing when they were 4.
Yeah. And I think it's a lot of the time it's your parents just want the kids out of the house running around the field just to get their energy out. And it grows and grows and grows. And some of the levels and the AAUs and the travel clubs and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, she just got hooked on it, and it's her passion. So, a lot of kids don't stick with it. She happened to stick with it, and it's actually quite good. So
it's I think it's a beautiful sport. Yeah. And there are many people that are like, you're insane. But I will tell you this: when I was back years ago and the World Cup was coming, I said, be ready with this World Cup, with the amount of product that's being produced and the amount of fans that are going there and the kids that are going up playing soccer. Well, that year the U.S. didn't make the World Cup, so it was kind of a punch in the gut. Well, this year it's in North America, so they've already qualified. They're here, and you now have all these kids and all these people that are playing, and it's going to be a world stage in our country here. U.S.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
It's going to bring a new fandom to this that's there with these up and coming players, and the amount of money that these players are being paid now, and the amount of sponsorships that are going to be surrounding these folks. It's about to get really loud in the next year.
Well, I'm going to tell you something before we take a break. Actually, Lou, you can get ready for your CSA read, but before we take a break, I read an interesting article across the country at the high school level. At the high school level, more boys are going out for soccer than football. It's starting to take root at the high school level across the country. Now, there are certain pockets in Texas, I'm sure, in Florida, that high school football is still, Friday night lights.
Sure.
But point being is that across the country, in New York, in Massachusetts, in California, there are more kids going out for soccer than there are for football. And I think that has to do with a lot more than just the love of the sport.
To Jeremy's point, with the World Cup coming, I mean, I'll watch tobogganing on a national level. I'll root for the American team. I don't have to love the sport. International competition is great. When you bring it to this level with this amount of hype here in the United States with the U.S. team here, I think you're going to see a big boom of kids coming up and being indoctrinated in that, and then just going in and playing at the, continuing from what they do as a kid, playing soccer as a young kid and doing it at the high school level.
I agree.
I think it's an opportunity for a big boost.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jeremy.
Real quick, as you walk around different events, wherever you are with the kids, if you're at amusement parks, if you're at the malls, wherever you are, you're seeing more and more kids wearing soccer jerseys, international soccer jerseys. And I think that's a really big sign of how big that market is. And they say it's the biggest sport in the world when you put everything together. And I think when you see a kid in the U.S. wearing a Lamine Yamal jersey out and about, I think it says a lot about the industry and the market and the demand that's there. So get ready. The next year is they hype that up, especially with our buddies over at Panini as being a big player in that and putting that market out there. Just be ready for the next year.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. But before that, Lou, why don't you tell our viewers and listeners about this coming weekend's CSA show?
The CSA shows is proud to present. No, that's the Chantilly show, right? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
It's proud to present the Chantilly show being held from October 17th through October 19th, held at the Dulles Expo Center in Chantilly, Virginia, just minutes from Dulles International Airport. Celebrating 29 years at the same location, there'll be over 450 dealer tables exhibiting over 125,000 square feet of space. Both vintage sports cards and memorabilia, as well as modern-day sports treasures. You won't have to look very far for that special card, bat, ball, or autograph. Major auction houses and third-party grading companies will be on the site to assist you with your collecting and authenticating needs. Some of your favorite superstars will be on hand, including Patriot superstar Rob Gronkowski. Yes, Gronk is coming to the Chantilly show. Check out this star-studded cast that'll also be appearing. Sean Alexander, Mike Allstott, Brian Bodsworth, Robin Brazil, Joe DeLamalura, Tim Smith, Lawrence Taylor, Emmett Smith, Mel Blount, Sam Bradford, Ty Law, Dennis Rodman, Dominique Wilkins, and many, many more. For more information, go to csashows.com. That's csashows.com. That's the Chantilly Show, where you can find all of your sports collecting treasures.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Jeremy's in the house. Logan's in the house. We have one more shorter segment. Hang in there, and we shall return.
I'm Rebecca Curry, a two-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free, integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petroselli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on their tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden Auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. Highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
Okay, we are back with Jeremy and Logan from Pristine Auctions. And you know something? You need to have insurance. If you have collectibles, you got to have insurance. If you don't have insurance, you're a nut. So with that being said, Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency has been insuring collectibles since the early 1980s. The late Tom Finkelmeyer wrote the original sports memorabilia insurance policy when no one else in the industry was insuring sports collectibles. A lifelong collector of sports cards, Tom Sr. instilled the love of collecting in Tom Jr., the current president of Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency. Tom Finkelmeyer Jr., with 3 decades of insurance experience, has paired that expertise with 50 years of collecting. With a litany of professional designations, including counseling and risk management, Tom covers every aspect of your collectible insurance needs. Unlike some of the companies that sell collectibles insurance directly to the consumer online, Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency is the only independent retail agent who specializes in sports memorabilia and collectibles nationwide, representing all major companies that sell collectibles insurance. There's no agent that insures more collectors, dealers, appraisers, auctioneers, or events in the collector's hobby than Finkelmeyer Insurance. Our good friend and hobby legend, John Tobby, as a matter of fact, of JT Sports, has been using Finkelmeyer Insurance for over 20 years. For more information, go to thefia.com. Thefia.com. That's Finkelmeyer Insurance, where collecting is our passion. All right, we have another little short segment. I want to reach out to you guys. Let's talk about Ohtani. You know, I go on every week, I go on and I look at the top selling cards in eBay, top 25 selling cards in eBay. At least 15 of them are Ohtani cards. I mean, it's amazing how many different types of cards there are. How do you guys keep up with what's hot, what's not, as far as the cards of a particular player? I mean, Panini puts out, I don't know how many Ohtani cards in one shoot. How do you guys keep up with what's the card that people should be buying? What's the card they should be looking for?
Right now, with our model, we try to get stuff turned around as quickly as we can and get it sold. So with us, if it has the word Ohtani on it, we're trying to turn it fast. We don't care if it is the low-end base card from this year or a rookie autograph card of his. Like, we're trying to turn it quick because people want his stuff right now. And I will tell you this, on a sales side of it, you've got a perfect opportunity. You have the overseas market with that. You have him playing for the Dodgers. You have him going to win another MVP, and he's in the playoff hunt right now. So everybody, there's really never a time where you can buy someone on the cheap, but people right now are buying his cards right now knowing there's a really good chance of worst case scenario, you're going to get another MVP added to his trophy case.
All right, so with that being said, does the Judge card lose a little of its luster?
That one is a tricky one because it's going to be interesting to see who the MVP goes to in the American League. I think the old big dumper is the run that they're making right now is helping him. And I don't know if the voting is already in yet or anything like that. Lou, you may know right off the bat.
I think they vote before the start of the preseason, but yeah. I'm in
Okay.
postseason. I'm sorry.
And I think that could hurt the Raleigh, but it's going to be a close race there. So Judge, again, you're a Yankee. Like, you're always going to have a demand there, regardless of what that is. And there's a chance he makes another run at an MVP next year. So as you were saying that during the break, I go through here, and in our live show, we have 4 Judge early autograph cards coming up for sale. Probably today or in this week sometime. So I think Ohtani, the demand is higher. And Logan, you can weigh in here. I think the demand for Ohtani is higher than Judge, but Judge is not far behind.
Lou?
Jeremy, talk a little bit about the market for Cal Raleigh, because as I was saying a couple of weeks ago, it's like I just watched that guy catch the 60th home run ball and hand it to a kid. I'm going, how much money did he just give away?
Yeah.
So what's the market going to be for Raleigh? Obviously, he hasn't got the cachet of McGuire or Bonds or Aaron Judge, of course. But what's
the market? The market.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think it's tough here. And what I'm seeing is there's not a lot of Raleigh cards out there. Like, it's Ohtani, you're constantly going to print those no matter what. Mm-hmm. And Cal Raleigh didn't have that fanfare. He was a catcher, and you don't kind of expect this type rise in the year. And can he sustain it long term? Right. And what Tom was saying there, you're in the Seattle market. You don't have the overseas market that's there, but you're in a bit of a smaller market. But people are constantly asking for him. You just don't see a lot of it here. And Logan, you guys may see more of it coming through.
I mean, down in sort, I don't see any really. I was going to say, when you said overseas market, that's the big thing that Ohtani has going for him, is he's pretty much, if you're Japanese, you're rooting for Ohtani. So he has an entire country behind him. So that obviously drives prices up as well.
Plus, the investment possibilities aren't there, because Cal Raleigh could disappear a year from now. Could absolutely disappear.
Good point.
What's crazy about that guy handling
it's like Brady Anderson.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm kidding.
There's something behind Brady Anderson's rise. Maybe. The guy handing that ball to that kid, good for that guy. Like, that's props, huge. I think a lot of that had to do with the old Philly fan that got in trouble about a week before.
Did they ever, by the way, did they ever identify that woman? They never identified her, huh?
I never, but she had to have been. But she was everywhere.
I know. It's I find it mind-boggling.
We had Matt Strawman a couple of weeks ago, relief pitcher for the Phillies, who was awesome. He's a friend of ours. He came and did some box breaks. So it was fun talking to him about that situation, being there in the locker room when it all happened and things like that. And good for the Phillies and the were they in Miami, I think?
Yeah, I don't remember who it was.
Making that situation right for that. But I think right now, if you catch a ball anytime and you don't immediately hand it to a kid, you're in trouble.
Absolutely. There's no doubt. Hey, we're going to have a couple of minutes left, but what are your thoughts on the vintage market? Is the vintage market still strong? Is the vintage market declining a bit? What are your thoughts on that? Both, Logan, you first. I'm talking sports, not Pokemon.
I figured. But I mean, the vintage market is vintage market. I don't think you'll ever really decline, because obviously as time goes on, those cards just get rarer and rarer. And especially if you have a graded vintage card, that's just going to hold its value and only go up.
Jeremy?
I've always said they're not making any more vintage cards. So your space there is limited. And I think it's always the very, very safe purchases that you're going to have there. As more and more of the older players pass away, it's going to spike that market a tad bit more. I think next year will be very interesting with the Hall of Fame and the baseball, when I think 2 players get in that have been held out for a while. I think Rose gets in for sure. I think that brings another spike of the market there. And there's a lot of Pete Rose products and autographs out there.
Really, Lou, I got to tell you something. I'm going back about 4 or 5 years ago. One of our viewers, kind of like as a joke, sent me a box of probably 500 Mike Greenwell rookie cards.
Oh, wow.
I have a box of Mike Greenwell rookie cards sitting in my closet. And I said to Ellen, what should I do with them? She said, absolutely nothing. You're just going to let them sit there for posterity purposes.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Mike, obviously, Mike Greenwell passed away this week. Good ball player for the Red Sox. And
very good. Interesting statistical case for him as this stuff came out with his passing. It's like he was better than even I gave him credit for.
Well, offensively, he was a little mediocre defensively, but he was a hell of an offensive player. And he really did, there's always been controversy about the whole Canseco thing.
Yep.
And him not winning the MVP that year. So I don't know.
We can go a little long, if I can ask Jeremy, because I've been fascinated by the pop culture page. I've been digging in that for like 3 days now.
Yeah.
What is this pipeline? Is Mark Hamill sitting at home signing stuff? Who's putting these guitars together? Who got all of the cast of the
Great question. Great question.
How does this all happen?
When I first started working here, they said, "Do you have Taylor Swift in the warehouse signing guitars?" Because it's just rolling in here. This is just like our sports site. When you get a stack of jerseys that are coming that are signed, these people are out here doing signing with some of these celebrities. There are chasers that are out there and they know where these folks are and they're getting the pieces in here. So no, it's Mark Hamill's not down there signing. Taylor Swift's not down there signing. These are all from consignment. So we've got dealers and individual people all around the country and the world that are gathering this stuff and sending that. But it's amazing what you see come through, and you're walking through the warehouse, or you're looking at the pop culture auction, or we'll do a pop culture live at times, and people are just clamoring for it. Hey, do pop culture. Can you do pop culture? Can you do pop culture? It's amazing what we have down there and who has signed that stuff. It's
so much fun. Just sit on the site and go.
Absolutely.
It's so much fun.
Well, not only that, but I mean, obviously, because of the amount of items that you have on the pop culture side, you guys must have one hell of a customer base for that merchandise.
Yeah.
I would think.
It's a massive, massive reach that we have with that, because we sort of have a product for everybody. If you want the high-end stuff, we've got the elite auction that's there. If you want pop culture, it's there. If you're looking for NASCAR, it's there. If you want live, fast auctions, slow auctions, whatever you want, we have something going for pretty much everybody. And that's what I love about the company, and being in this industry as long as I have. There are some companies that are geared towards higher end stuff. Well, that eliminates a lot of your customer base. During the pandemic, the grading fees and things like that eliminated a lot of the other people that could submit for grading just because of the cost. And what I love about it here is if you're looking for something that's collectible, there's a good chance you can find it here. And that's coins. We've had somebody reach out.
Jewelry. Everything.
We've got a great relationship with 2 dealers that we trust that are doing a great thing. Jared loves to say, hey, when you're here buying stuff for you, pick up something for your wife. Grab them a piece of jewelry. I will tell you right now, don't rule out high-end handbags that are authenticated.
Oh wow!
We've been here before, which is a slippery slope to play on because of benefits. But just like anything else that we have on our site, its authenticity is guaranteed. We're going to have backing behind that. So don't rule anything out. But I think I told this story in here before. When my dad came to visit us in Phoenix, and he sat outside and watched our 10-minute auction all day. All day he watched it. And he came in and said, hey, Jeremy, did you see what this just went for? Hey, did you see what this went for? I said, Dad, I see it every day. All day I see it. But they just love it because it's so much unique stuff.
Yep.
And it's not just football or just basketball, it's whatever.
No, it's awesome. All right, guys, we're just about out of time. We love having you guys, and you guys know that. I mean, you're so different than what we do every week with some of our sponsors in the auction houses. Not to say that they're not great, but everybody has their niche, and you guys in the collectibles world really have a niche that's unlike any other.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah, no, good job. With that being said, guys, thanks so much for coming on. We will see you down the road. We'll see you. Are you going to be in Philly or no? You personally?
I doubt it. No, I try to travel as little as possible. All the skilled folks.
Well, now, Logan, are you going to be in Philly? Because I know for a fact that they're loaded with Pokemon dealers. Loaded. So
yeah,
Logan's got too much work to do here. Just But I did hear that about the Philly show, that they're going to open up another hall and make it all
And the same thing next year at the National.
Oh.
Same thing at the National. They're going to have, from what I'm hearing, they're going to have a floor for Pokemon. So it's going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
All right, guys, it's been a pleasure. We love having you. Louis, great job as usual. To our viewers and listeners, thank you all for the support. And with that being said, happy collecting.